I'm not gonna say it.
What's it?
The words.
I
was gonna say I was like
I'm allowed to say I'm on the fly.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you are. You don't though. You're really good. Hi everyone, my name is Tami Schlichter and I'm the founder of the U.S. Aerial Championships. Today we are sitting down with Anna Thomas-Henry, our Silks champion from the 2015 championships. You can find Anna's winning routine on the U.S. Aerial YouTube, and also the live stream is still available on upa.tv. So check it out. Today we are going to be talking just about Anna's life and what it means to be an aerialist and circus in the United States and all that kind of stuff. So we're actually here in New York City because Circus now is hosting the Contemporary International Contemporary Circus.
Yeah, I want to say it's International Contemporary Circus Exposure.
Yeah. So Anna performed 2 nights ago with Acrobatic Conundrum, which was amazing. I went and saw it. It was really great. And last night we both attended a panel discussion, which I thought some interesting conversation.
Yeah, I love those panel discussions. You know, we're always there.
Yeah.
We're always there together.
Yeah. Yes. They started with what is contemporary circus and what is the definition of that. And I thought it was really interesting. I wanted to talk to you. I feel like you would be able to explain to our audience what is circus, because our audience is kind of pole and aerial, and maybe a lot of the people are not as familiar with what it means to be circus. And also the general population, when they think of circus, I believe they were right last night in saying, oh, it's the top hats and animals.
Totally.
You know? So what is this circus thing?
So, I mean, it actually gets a little bit controversial in terms of verbiage and exactly how you want to talk about things. But generally speaking, when we talk about circus and contemporary circus in particular, we're talking about a type of circus that is put on stage that also integrates other disciplines like dance and theatrical elements, even other art forms like sculpture or video. So it's not just this traditional trope and traditional form of present an act, go ta-da, go off stage, next act comes on stage, goes ta-da. So rather than going in this very presentational style that we expect from a more traditional type of circus that might happen in 3 rings or outdoors or something like this, what contemporary circus is aiming to do is to include other art forms and tell stories or work with character development and use narratives and relate to its audience in a way that's not just a display of virtuosity, but that could be potentially more. Doesn't mean we don't still do a lot of virtuosic things in contemporary circus and that there aren't still traditional elements potentially in contemporary circus, but it's an idea that we can kind of coexist with other art forms and meld together a bit more.
So 2 things that I was thinking were the act and then ta-da. I was like, oh, that's actually what U.S. Aerial is.
Totally, that's exactly what it is. Well, because that's what it has to be, because we're not working all together in that kind of situation. Mm-hmm. You're coming in, you're showcasing your own work, and then you're taking a moment and allowing the next person to showcase their work. Yeah,
I was like, oh, are we traditional circus?
No, I wouldn't put it in that terminology at all, but it is the same sort of format.
Yeah.
But that's the intention, is to showcase the individual person one at a time, and the audience isn't there for anything else.
Let me ask you, do you feel like there's value in doing that?
Oh, yeah.
What's the value in doing that in addition to the circus companies like Acrobatic Conundrum?
Yeah. So, I mean, in the circus, a lot of the time we build an act that is ours, that can be used in a lot of different kinds of situations. So most artists, when they form their work, will form their 4 to 6 minute act as an individual or as a duo or as a troupe. And then when we come into the context of circus shows, if it's presented in this showcase format, then we don't have to worry about it. We don't have to mess with it at all. But if you want to put it in the context of a greater production, you have to mess with it and things have to shift a little bit. So there's this really big challenge when you bring all these artists together and everyone has their pre-existing work. It is possible that everyone comes in and creates new work together, but it's also common that pre-existing work slides its way into the show in some way that everyone has all worked together to figure out, and maybe it's creating a narrative around that piece that already exists, or maybe it's allowing it to stay in its original format, who knows. But it presents a big challenge because you have this piece that you've created over the course of the years, and like, for a lot of us it is years, it's not weeks or months, it's a long time that we put into these pieces of work with technique and artistry. And then you come into this group of people and you have to find your way in, and you're working with a director or you're working with a choreographer, and a lot of your work has to shift potentially. And sometimes you have free reign and you get to shift as you want, but other times it's really, okay, how do we take what you've done and adjust it to the needs of the greater production so that it's serving the show rather than existing, in its own box outside of the show.
So US Aerial maybe provides an opportunity for people to present the act that they've created.
Yeah.
So that shows can see them.
Totally.
And maybe get an idea of, hey, we can incorporate that some way into our show.
Right, or this person has an aesthetic that would work really well in our production, or like the way this person thinks, I can see it coming out of them, and I would love to work with them as an artist, or wow, check out that technique, I'm inspired by that, I know I could bring them into my company or my production and give them A, B, C, and D, and they would be able to execute it.
Right.
And I mean, for circus artists and for aerialists in general, it is really important to be able to present your work that is true to what you have created, and in its original sort of format.
Right. Yes. That reminds me of my conversation with Dana. It's also important that as a producer, I provide the platform for you to present the work as.
Totally.
It's been such a learning curve for me to learn just this little thing about Lyra and how not having a pulley system didn't allow her to present the work as she created it.
Yeah.
And
totally.
And just how big of a deal that is. And especially on this stage, I think it's important because I'm live streaming and it's a big deal.
It is a big deal. And ultimately it depends on the personality of the individual, and depends on how greatly their work is affected. Like, so for example, for me, the situation at US Aerial worked quite well. I knew what the ceiling height was going to be like, which is kind of the most important thing for me, because in my number, the choreography that I do has to be adjusted in its very specific moments to accommodate for the right ceiling height. And then there's a certain point where I reach that it's just not enough ceiling height, and realistically it doesn't make sense to do the act. But for me, it all worked very well, and the way that the rigging was set up was really conducive to the style of work that I do. However, I've been in several situations where there was no rigging point that was solid, and we had to hang a line. Like, actually, for example, here at the Circus Now show the other night, I ended up on a line that the rigging was completely safe and done very technically and well done. However, it was a style of rigging that left my apparatus with a little bit of bounce.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Which sucks for me, because the technique that I use in my act kind of gets sucked away when I have a bouncy apparatus, and it makes it like quite a slog. So every artist is affected differently, but for other artists that might be a really ideal rigging situation.
Yeah.
Depending on their particular techniques and how their apparatus functions. And when you're in a show situation, it's interesting to figure out how you need to compensate as an individual versus when it's not okay to compensate as an individual for the larger whole, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like this very fine line you walk of kind of going in and being simpatico and working with the team, and then also trying to make sure that your work represents in its best light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, it's like a relationship or marriage.
It is.
Compromising yourself versus, for the relationship or not. Yeah.
Oh my God. And it's always stressful. It's always stressful coming into a new venue that you haven't seen before, and you have some information, but sometimes in the business we receive really on point, accurate, beautiful layouts and information, and other times we don't. And you kind of never know what you're going to walk into.
Yeah.
And some days it works out great, and other days you just go, wow, okay, that wasn't the best one.
Well, but luckily the audience does not know. The audience is not aware.
That's true.
And
The audience doesn't know, and like realistically speaking, the other aerialists who do know feel for you, and they get it.
Yeah.
And like
it's not a
we
big
can
deal.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can see like, oh yeah, like that would affect me too.
Yeah.
And that might affect my choreographic, options and my technical output. And yep, that's rough.
Yeah.
It's happened to me too. we can all sympathize with each other.
And that brings me to the fact that US Aerial is a nonprofit organization, and in order for us to be able to provide these services for aerialists in America trying to make it, we rely heavily on the donations of people like you watching. So if you would please support us, go to the Support Us page on our website and donate today. That would be great. It would help us support the aerialists throughout the year. The only way we're able to put on this competition is with your support. So thank you so much for your donations. I want to take a moment to thank our sponsors. First, our video sponsor, UPA.tv, supports us year-round in filming these videos, and they also film the live stream for the US Aerial Championships and host it on their website year-round for you to watch for free. So thank you so much to UPA.tv. Thank you to our Lyra sponsor, Aerial Animals, our pole sponsor, Lupit Pole, Silk's sponsor, Hetty's Fabrics. Thank you to our grant sponsors, Aerial Arts Santa Cruz, Viva Vitamins, Womack and Bowman, and Body and Pole. We still have room for a new and innovative apparatus sponsor, and several grant sponsorships are available. If you want to become a sponsor, contact us on our website, on our sponsor page, and we would love to have you on board. So thank you everyone for watching. My name is Tami, and I'm the founder of the US Aerial Championships. And follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and our website. Yeah, what's your Instagram handle?
My Instagram handle is Anna, ANNATH206. I'm there. Got lots of followers.
Yeah, follow Anna.